Dear students, in the previous lessons we had discussion regarding map reading, fieldcraft, battlecraft and other aspects. Today we will have a discussion on Indian defence. Indian defence is a very prestigious organization. It's commanded by President of India and it is divided in three wings: Army, Navy, Air Force. Army stands first, then Navy, last Air Force as per the seniority. We have totally 15,200 kilometer border area, sharing border with Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, and we have 7,516 sea border, that is coastal line. These borders and coastal lines have to be protected for the safety of the nation. And here the role of armed forces becomes very important. And these armed forces, they have their own separate entities. Army has got its own establishments and training centers. In the same way, Navy too has got its own establishments and training centers, and Air Force too. Dealing with Army has got its own training centers like IMA, Indian Military Academy, and NDA, National Defence Academy, and National Defence College. And these institutions train our young men in these various centers regarding the value of honesty, nationalism, courage, discipline and sacrifice, to make the youth to prepare themselves for protecting the motherland and defend it from the enemy. This is the main purpose of our army, and training the young people to defend the nation. And not only this defence has got its own defence production unit. Defence production activities are divided in two parts. One is departmentally managed, means by the defence forces the things are managed. For example, arms and ammunition, tanks and army vehicles are manufactured in the ordnance factories only, which are directly controlled by the defence forces, directly under the control of Defence Ministry. Ships, aircrafts, earth moving machine, tools, sensors are made by the defence public sector factories. Public sector factories are also established in the country. Those who are very responsible, the material like ships, aircrafts, for example HAL, Hindustan Aeronautic Limited, the such companies, they will have a maximum control of the government also, and the production of some of the things like ships, aircrafts and rockets, etc. are manufactured in these public sector companies. They supply the required material to all these three defense wings: Army, Navy and Air Force. Indian Army has got its own tradition. Our soldiers are well trained. They are identified by the army of Chandragupta Mauryas, Ashoka. The four-headed lion is taken as a symbol of our army. The Ashoka's four-headed lion symbol is taken as the army symbol. Our army inculcates the discipline of Maurya's Gupta armies, Mauryan army and Gupta army. Our army is known in the world for its discipline. That's why in most of the cases, to maintain an international security, peace, Indian army is preferred. UNO prefers the Indian army to send wherever there is a disturbance, wherever there is a racial conflict. Indian army known for its discipline and sincerity and hard work. And in short, we can say our army for the last 200 years, it is developed. East India Company's security force was gradually developed into an army directly, which was under the control of British. And the British were ruling us. They were maintaining three types of army. One is Royal Army, European Army and Indian Army. That we will deal in detail in the history of Indian Army. But anyway, our army has developed after independence. It has earned a very good name also. And this army, very big army of ours next to China, we have such a big manpower. And this has been divided in 5 commands. The 5 commands have got different headquarters in different areas so that it can spread all over the country. For example, Indian Army has got 5 commands. The Northern Command headquarters is in Udhampur. All these army commands are headed by Lieutenant Generals. Next to General in rank, the officer of the rank of Lieutenant General commands these commands. Northern Command's headquarters is in Udhampur and Western Command is in Chandi Mandi or Chandi Mandir in Simla, Western Command. Central Command is in Lucknow and Eastern Command in Kolkata. Southern Command is in Pune. Other than these 5 commands for administration, there is one more command which is called a training command. Training command is established in Shimla. With these commands, our army functions. And further, these commands are divided by corps and divisions, brigades and units. And then companies, platoons, sections. The main branches of the army are infantry, Armor Corps, Army Aviation Corps, and helping branches to the fighting forces are Artillery, Corps of Engineers, and Corps of Signals. Logistic services also are there in the Indian Army, Army Supply Corps, Army Supply Ordnance Corps, Corps of Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, and there is a medical corps also in two parts, Army Medical Corps and Army Dental Corps. For communication, Army Postal Corps also is established, and to educate our men, Army people, Army Education Corps also is there. And for supply, for the requirement of Army, particularly food requirements, renowned Veterinary Corps, Military Farm Service, and Military Corps of Police. So these are the different departments. With the help of all these departments, our big army functions successfully. And coming to Navy, Navy also has got its own command. Indian Navy has got a very long history. Before 3000 BC, India had its business through waterways to Egypt and Persia, British, and many other countries. The main job of the Indian Navy is to protect our long coastal area, coastal line, which is 7,516 kilometers, and to safeguard the interest of our business from the border, that is coastal line. Every country has got its own sea area, which is about 200 nautical miles from the border. We can move our mercantile ships, we can send our fishermen, safeguarding our mercantile navy and fishermen, coastal guards' interest. Our navy works in the interest of all this. First is nation security. So we have three commands functioning, and another command is being established recently, it's Andaman Nicobar in Port Blair. The Western Command, Western Naval Command is in Mumbai, and Eastern Naval Command is in Visakhapatnam. Southern Naval Command is in Cochin. And Andaman Nicobar also has got a command in Port Blair. The planning of execution is mainly done by Western Fleet. The operation, by doing its operation in Arabian Sea, staff and personnel, Eastern Fleet takes the responsibility of staff and personnel, and its activities are done in the Bay of Bengal. And technical, we have three types of ships. One is aircraft carriers, another one is fighting ships and destroyer ships, and there is a logistic department also. This is how our Indian Army functions. In 2017, Malabar area, a joint naval exercise in Arabian Sea with American Navy was conducted, and it protected mercantile ships of our country and other countries also. Example from Somali dacoits. The pirates of Somaliland have hijacked some of the mercantile ships. Indian Army successfully protected those ships. And the aircraft carriers and destroyers, they are called warships. Missile boats and submarines are INS Nilgiri, Himagiri, Devagiri, Taragiri, Vindhyagiri. So these are the ships. They support the submarine and survey and recovery ships. Since 1964, building naval ships, aircraft carriers, example INS Vikrant, which is decommissioned nowadays. In place of INS Vikrant, which is decommissioned, INS Virat has taken its place. This is how our submarines are able to send the rockets also from the sea. Our aircraft carriers are able to carry planes on it, deck, and they are able to send missiles also. So Indian Navy is also a competent branch of our defense. Then coming to Air Force. The Air Force was started in 1925. Up to 1945, Air Force was only a fighting force. Some fighter planes were there in this Air Force department. In 1950, with the appointment of Marshal Subrata Mukherjee, it became an Indian Air Force. Earlier it was a part of British Royal Air Force. Before Subrata Mukherjee was appointed, till then it was only a part of British Air Force. It was only a fighting force. In 1948, in 1962, in 1965, in 1971, our Air Force has proved its mettle, its administrative capacity, its logistic capacity, training. Our Air Force functions in 6 divisions. The 6 divisions are Air Force Defense. Second one is defending the nation is the first priority. Second is strike. In other words, it is called Prahar, means attacking, offensive force. And third one is training. Fourth one is reconnaissance. Fifth one is transport. Sixth is a helicopter unit. Ours is the second biggest in Asia next to China. Each squadron of Air Force contains 21 aircrafts, and it has got 2 training and 3 maintenance units. 2 training units are there, 3 maintenance units are there. And this Air Force also is divided in different commands. Totally there are 7 commands. One is Western Command, the headquarters is in Delhi. Second is Nairuti Air Command, which is in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Eastern Air Command is in Shillong, Meghalaya. Central Air Command is in Allahabad, UP. Southern Air Command, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. Maintenance Air Command, Nagpur in Maharashtra. Training Air Command is in Bangalore, Karnataka. And there are some other sub-units also of training. Some sub-unit of maintenance is in Lucknow, Agra, Hyderabad and Bidar are mainly for training, preliminary training. And we have a Air Defence Command in Jamnagar, Gujarat. And Indian Air Force uses different types of planes also. Mirage 1000 aircrafts are there, helicopters are there, Canberra planes are there, Hunter planes are there, Ajit, Kiran, MiG-21, MiG-23, MiG-28, Jaguar, Mirage 2000, and there are transport planes also, Dakota planes, helicopters like Chetak, a small fighting planes like Nat. Nat is a French name. During 71, this small fighting plane, which we have developed with the French technology, Nat means, GN80 Nat means a flight. In the same way, it suddenly takes off and suddenly lands, suddenly makes an attack on enemy, which was a greater problem for Pakistani Air Force in 1971. And we have developed, along with our Air Force development, the rockets like Agni, all indigenously developed. These are all our own creations. The rockets like Agni, Akash, Nag, Prithvi, Trishul, BrahMos. The very name itself suggests that these are all indigenous made rockets. For making these indigenous rockets, our past president APJ Abdul Kalam, who was working in ISRO sometime, when he was an advisor, scientific advisor to Prime Minister, his contribution is worth remembering. Anyway, we have 3 strong defense forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, and sufficient manpower and quite intelligent officers also. They are very intelligent in preparing war tactics also. They are very wise to handling the situations. They are very wise how to deceive the enemy, to get rid of them. Anyway, we are proud of our defense forces. To support these defense forces, our country has established another forces like Border Security Force, CRPF, Coastal Guard. These are all coming to the assistance of our main fighting 3 wings And our young men and women recently are joining the defense forces. Many of our ladies have gone as officers in the defense forces. Many of them have become pilot officers. The country is proud of our young men and women, and it is not sufficient for us. We should train all our young men and women who are capable of fighting, who are able-bodied. We should train them like as Israel trains its citizens. Anyway, we should not be happy only with whatever we have achieved, but still we have to achieve something more. At least 50% of our population should be ready to fight any time the nation calls. That way, we must train our people. Keep them ready. Already we have NCC. In the same way, the compulsory military training should be made to all the people, those who want to go into responsible positions. Particularly, those who want to contest for election. And they must be made to undergo military training, serve in the defense forces at least for 2 years. Perhaps there will be no shortage of manpower. As it is, we have no shortage of manpower. But even then, the leaders, the supposed leaders of this country, who wants to handle the affairs of the country, must have a compulsory military training. Then only we can be proud of our defense forces, which will be working day and night, restlessly, sacrificing their life. Our civilian population should be so trained, they should give respect for the sacrifice made by these 3 defense forces. They will understand only when they undergo military training. What hardship our personnel of defense forces experience. If the ruling class experiences the military training, the hardship of military training, indirectly they will imbibe the discipline in them. Perhaps our country will be safe in the hands of people, those who have received tough military training. They can understand the sacrifice of these people. Anyway, the young people should give much attention, should concentrate on, should know how our defense forces work. Then only there is a possibility of yourself taking interest in our defense. Thank you, one and all. No rest here.